Go to the bottom of the 6th inning, and Chris Mazza has thrown all of 67 pitches to the RailRiders so far here tonight. Comes out looking to stay in cruise control. RailRiders singled first 2 batters of the game in order to set up the offense for that first and only run. It's Tyro Estrada leading off the 6th inning. The pitch is a breaking ball down and away to Tyro for ball 1.
And that's really a trend that continues from over the weekend against Louisville, not forcing the pitcher to overextend himself, not working counts.
Not at all. Pitch to Estrada. A little low for ball 2.
The anticipation was against 2 spot starts that you would try to work the bullpen guys getting the first 3 or 4 innings. You'd work them a little bit harder than the RailRiders did.
2-0. It's pitch to Estrada. He swings and chops it back. 2-1.
No, I don't put Chris Mazza in the same conversation as Eric Stout and Jesus Reyes. This is a very viable AAA starter at the least, and a guy who might be a year or 2 away from really factoring in a big league rotation, or at least a big league bullpen.
2-1 pitch. Misses just away as Rivera tries to frame it and then pump fakes on the throw back to the pitcher in protest. 3-1, the pitch to Estrada, swing and a line drive slash the other way past the dive of Luis Guillorme. Little belly flop effort by Guillorme, but the RailRiders have a leadoff single. 4th time in 6 innings. RailRiders now looking to do something with it.
Nice effort by Guillorme. It was just beyond his reach, and I like the fact that if you're not going to get there, at least make it look like you were trying to get there. It was still well beyond his grasp, and he holds the glove out with a quick chat. Danny Espinosa, they sort out who's covering second base, and a little laugh at his dive.
First pitch up and into Clint Frazier for ball 1.
I like the effort.
Certainly, by one of the best defensive second basemen in the International League, perhaps in all of minor league baseball. Guillorme, flashy glove first guy that got him to the big leagues. He just needs to hit a little bit more while he's up with New York. 1-0 pitch to Frazier, breaking ball outside corner for a called strike from Mazza. The New York Yankees have the night off. They played yesterday, and we talked about how they got the win over the Boston Red Sox. A few deeper numbers from that game last night. That nice victory for New York to avoid a sweep at the hands of their AL East rival. 1-1 pitch is a swing and a fly ball shallow right center field. It's Guillorme drifting out. Second baseman makes the call. It drops as it glances off of his glove. He throws to second, and Estrada's thrown out. 4-6 on the out at second, and Estrada caught in no man's land. He needed to make sure he could get back to first if Guillorme made the catch. That ball just didn't glance far enough away once it landed.
There was not a whole lot Estrada could do after the fact. He gave a look to fill-in umpire Mike Serra, a long look to Mike Serra with a, what I would imagine is a, really? Are you sure? Really? Sure I didn't get there?
They got it right.
They got it.
I think Mike Serra, the fill-in ump, can feel confident about that. Breivik Valera now, the first pitch, fastball inside corner to Breivik Valera for called strike 1. So those numbers from last night for New York. Austin Romine hit the hardest ball of the season off of the Red Sox ace Chris Sale. 0-1 to Valera, stands in on the left side, the pitch up and away, ball 1. It's clocked at 111.4 miles an hour. And it traveled, the home run did, 446 feet, which was the longest home run of Romine's career. 1-1 pitch upstairs to Valera, ball 2. Also of note, Didi Gregorius homered off of Chris Sale, and it was the first home run that Sale had allowed to a left-handed hitter, since the 2017 season. 2-1 to Valera, it's upstairs, ball 3. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning here at PNC Field in Music. It's a 3-1 Syracuse Mets lead over Scranton Wilkes-Barre. The pitch to Valera, swings and turns one over on the ground, foul. 3-2.
Earlier today, Brian Hoke of MLB.com did a mailbag, and he brought up a name that I haven't thought about in months. By email question, what's the status of Greg Bird? When was the last time we talked about Greg Bird in any playing capacity?
Well, I thought it was such a serious foot injury that his season was determined over at the time with the surgery. The 3-2 pitch, the runner goes, it's up and away, ball 4. No throw down to get Clint Frazier. And with 1 out, runners are at first and second. The batter up is Trey Ambergy.
He reported to their player development complex the first week of June for the next stage of his rehab from a torn left plantar fasciitis. Now a run to the mound by their pitching coach, Royce Ring, one of their pitching coaches. They also have Glenn Abbott here, who is here and talked to me
right
a little bit earlier today. Now, injury recovery's been slow. He's been able to hit, throw, and run. Greg Bird, not Glenn Abbott. But considering his injury history and the emergence of Luke Voigt and the acquisition of first Kendrys Morales, then Edwin Encarnacion, there's really no rush to try to get Bird back.
Right.
He said usually the time you spend on the injured list is about the amount of time you're going to spend trying to come back. So you're looking at maybe a September return to the majors for Greg Bird.
At the very, very best.
And is it at that point worth a roster spot and risking further damage?
Right, I think you just give him the rest of the year. Here's the pitch to Trey Ambergy, swings and bounces it foul.
I mean, if we start talking about his return in the next 2 weeks and a rehab stint happens with the RailRiders late August or Trenton in a postseason run, one of those two clubs, I wouldn't say no.
We saw the RailRiders. The ball's in a strike. The pitch, swinging a sharp ground ball, left side, base hit. Runner gets the wave home. Frazier hustles to the plate. It's bobbled by Alcantara. Throws back to second behind Breivik Valera. That's not in time. Frazier scores. The bobble doesn't ultimately affect too much. Frazier was being waved home anyway. And it's 3-2. Syracuse on top. The RailRiders making some noise in the bottom of the 6th inning.
It was a shallow roll into center, left center field, and you're right. Doug Davis was waving Clint Frazier home, was going to test the arm of Alcantara, who's got versatility infield, outfield. It would have been a relatively short throw at that for Alcantara, but credit Ambergy with the run batted in, no error.
First pitch breaking ball to Eric Kratz, the righty, and it's called strike 1.
50th run batted in for Trey Ambergy this year.
Bunch of RailRiders closing in on some big numbers. 50 runs batted in for Ambergy. Mike Ford is at 57. Numbers looking good for Ryan McBroom as well. Up over 40 runs batted in himself this season. Runner bluffs off of second. The 0-1 pitch home to Kratz, swinging a ground ball down the line, and it sneaks through the third baseman Tejada into the corner. 1 run scores. That's Valera. Ambergy gets waved home. The throw goes to the plate, and it's offline. It's a go-ahead 2-run double for Eric Kratz. It's a 3 spot so far here in the 6th inning. And the RailRiders are on top 4-3.
Just barely snuck over top of the bag with a good bounce past the good glove of Tejada. And once it got past the third baseman, that was going to plate both runs. And now Tony DeFrancesco's out to the mound to get Chris Mazza. Brody Kerner's off the hook for the loss. They had a lefty getting loose out in the bullpen, which I do believe was Daniel Zamora. And Eric Kratz coming up with the 2-run double. Insurance runner in scoring position for the RailRiders, and just 1 out in the inning. And that was on that fielder's choice bloop to right center field.
So it'll be the left-hander Gosuke Kato getting ready to face the new lefty Zamora when we return in 60 seconds. The RailRiders trailed 3-1. Now they're up 4-3, back in 60 on NEPA Sports Radio, The Game. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning, and the RailRiders have scored 3 times so far. They've jumped ahead 4-3 off of Syracuse and its starter, Chris Mazza. They give way to a new arm. It's a lefty coming in out of the bullpen, Daniel Zamora.
Former 40th round pick of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Zamora faced the RailRiders on July 13th at NBT Bank Stadium. He went an inning, allowed a hit. He struck out 2. All told this season in the minors, 1-1 with a 5.30 ERA. He's pitched 12 times for the New York Mets. No wins, no losses, and a 5.68 ERA. The big leagues this year. A total of 25 innings. He struck out 28 and walked 9.
40th round pick, huh?
Yep.
It is the poker equivalent of chipping a chair. Here's Gosuke Kato. The pitch is a fastball at the knees for called strike 1. Just get a seat at the table. Doesn't matter how much money you got in your pocket. Turn that one chip into a jackpot, and that's exactly what Daniel Zamora has done. No balls and a strike. With 1 out, the pitch to Kato. Down and away, and it gets away from the catcher, Rivera. His counterpart, Eric Kratz, takes off from second base and gets up to third. And now the objective has changed, albeit slightly, for Gosuke Kato here with 1 away, as the infield adjusts in with Kratz at third base.
Now all I want is what he did back in the second inning. It's a smash somewhere. Make it a difficult play if it's going to be on the infield. Try to handcuff them if you can't just push it right through. Pirates traded him in 2018 over to the Mets for left-hander Josh Smoker,
who threw as hard as his name would indicate. 1-1 pitch to Kato. He swings and cue balls 1 down the third base line, foul.
That is exactly the opposite of what I wanted Gosuke to do.
But it's foul. Get another crack at it. Smoker was a hard thrower who weaved his way in and out of independent baseball.
We saw him last year with Indianapolis.
It's a ball and 2 strikes. The pitch to Kato. Breaking ball outside corner, and Kato holds the bat above his head like Paul Bunyan holds an axe. Doesn't smash it to the ground, just silently walks away. 2 outs in the inning, and it brings up Wendell Rijo.
Book is not fully closed on the starter, still responsible for Eric Kratz out at second base, but Mazza is on the hook for the loss. 8 hits allowed, including 3 of them this inning and a walk. He walked 2, he struck out 2.
Timely base hit could work well for Wendell Rijo. The first pitch from the side-arming lefty sails and stays outside at 77 for ball 1. RailRiders have scaled the mountain, the hill. It was a 2-run hill. 4-3 lead now for the RailRiders. The pitch to Rijo, swing, and a clipped foul ball bounces to the backstop. But insurance run down at third base sure would be nice for Scranton Wilkes-Barre, who have speckled the base paths with base runners all night long. You mentioned what's been happening off of the starter Mazza. 1-1 pitch to Wendell Rijo. He swings and jams one in the air to left field. Alcantara jogs in with a skip at the last moment, reaches up, makes the catch, and that ends a go-ahead bottom of the 6th inning. 3 runs for Scranton Wilkes-Barre, including a 2-run double to put the RailRiders on top by Eric Kratz. And we go to the 7th. 4-3, RailRiders lead it on NEPA Sports Radio, The Game.